My youngest daughter was born in Hanford, by the way, at Hanford Community Hospital, and I recall that day very specifically. It was in March the 21st, 1967. I recall it specifically because I had two editorials written for the next day's newspaper, and while my wife, actually my former wife, not the same wife, was in labor, I went into the hospital office and borrowed a typewriter and wrote two editorials for the next day's newspaper, and then had somebody come over from the newspaper office and pick them up so that they, you know, in my business the paper comes out every day. It doesn't matter what else is going on. It's going to happen every day. So anyway, that's the introduction. I thought that the title of today's speech, State of the State, was quite apropos because clearly California is a state in some distress these days on several fronts, and I thought I would try to give the parameters of that a little bit and explain as best I can how I think all of our stresses in California are kind of tied together in many respects. First of all, most obviously, we're in economic distress. This is now the worst recession since the Great Depression. We had one about 20 years ago. It was the worst recession since the Great Depression, but this is worse, and now this is the worst one since the Great Depression. And the numbers of that are pretty daunting when you look at it. We've lost something in excess of 1 million jobs since this recession began, bringing our total unemployment in California to well over 2 million. Oddly enough, if you only have 1 million unemployed in California, that's low unemployment. That's about 5% unemployment. So I mean, you have to put that in that perspective. But it's well over 2 million now. And if you actually add to that, and that's 12% unemployment rate, the second highest in the nation, second only to our friends next door in Nevada, worse even than places that we consider basket cases such as Michigan, for example. And if you add to that the people who have dropped out of the labor force, who are underemployed, can only find minimal jobs, part-time work, so forth, you're really looking at something probably closer to 20% statewide. And in many counties,